So the pick is going to go to Yummy. Alright, so the first map is going to be Crimson Woods in this rather ridiculous upcoming set. You guys don't know quite how much I am exhausted and would desperately like them to just two-den each other to death. Alright. Yeah, the players are agreeing with me that next time I won't be casting all of this. I will be almost undoubtedly skipping a whole bunch. Possibly just casting top 4. So, in the red trunks, in the top left, it's going to be Yummy. Down in the bottom right, in the blue, we're going to have Icy, and it's going to be Crimson Woods. So it should be a nice, fast-paced, aggressive map today. Well, not today, but right now. And yeah, I think it was more than a little bit of a mistake to try and cast everything. I got a little bit ambitious. Looks like Yummy's going to be going for the barracks. There we go. And probably going to be the same ad of his opponent. There we go. So one works versus one racks. That might snowball fairly quickly if they're aggressive. Or it may just be a little bit more of a passive waiting game. We'll see how it goes. So right now I was just going to go scout out this opponent, confirm it's a mirror build, and I assume Yummy's heading off to do the same. Oh, Yummy, Yummy, Yummy is going to be going for a little bit more of an aggressive style. It is going to be one Rex, one Den. Are we going to see a second Den out of him? Not just yet. He will delay the barracks unit by a little bit just to get the second Den out. Icy needs to have a good response to this, because this is going to be a lot of pressure coming his way. A lot of pressure. Especially on a tiny map like this, where you don't have much distance to recover. It's going to be very, very hard indeed. Oh, and to make matters worse, it looks like it is going to be Rifleman versus Rifleman, where every single hit counts. There you go, first Rifleman pops out versus the soldier from Icy. So Icy setting up a little bit more defensively. Is going to try and hold on against the wolves there. but the range of the rifleman is going to make this difficult. Because normally you could just wall off, but with the rifleman in the mix, you can't. And it's actually going to be one base forge out of Icy? That's a little bit different. And I'm not sure how well that's going to work for him, but... So, Yummy's first set of units are out on the map now. And he's going to see what sort of damage he can get done. Icy does have enough gold to build this up. The first soldier's out on the map though, and I think soldier is definitely the best choice here. Soldier is going to trade really well against wolves and effectively neutralize that half of the army. But the riflemen have got a good advantage here. Using this wolf as a kite, Icy might be going down here. There we go, one rifleman does fall, and the wolf will actually get out to regenerate another day. Second wolf coming in, and the soldier desperately trying to put on as much damage. Oh, beautiful micro there for a second from Yummy just to keep all of that alive. The tower's going to go up though. The tower is going to go up, so that's going to delay this push a little bit. Yummy's going to need a lot more units to do much damage here. But obviously at the same time, that just frees him up to either just invest more heavily in wolves, or either just like tech up to, well not tech up, grab a second base. So right now the power is entirely in his hands, and it looks like he might actually get the forge here if Icy's not careful. Icy is trying to repair it and will keep the health roughly stable. So that's pretty nice for him to actually be able to hold that, but obviously there's more gold lost than he wanted. Oh, nice spot there from Yummy, just to hide up in those trees, and he will be able to force yet more repairs out of his opponent. There we go, as I said, the second base going down. This has got to be pretty frustrating. I would like to see more wolves than added on, but at the moment he's just going to try and grab that second base. And right now there's no way for Icy to retaliate, or he might actually find a corner where he can do something. So that's fairly nice. But Yummy's just going to put a lot of pressure on. This is so much gold lost that's had to go into repairing this forge to get this upgrade out. I really like the position here from Yummy. The choice to just mix in that little bit of extra aggression has really worked for him. He's going to grab a forge himself. He'll have the gold to afford it. And I don't know what Icy's comeback is going to be here. You can see Yummy is already about 200 gold ahead, just from managing to force out all this extra mining time on this forge, on Gavin in the second base, and obviously so much money, never mind lost, just that isn't mining. He's had to spend so much money just repairing this forge, huge amounts. So right now this is absolutely fantastic for Yummy, and I think Icy, once he realizes the extent of what his opponents managed to do, I think he will probably be forced to GG. The forge is going to go down, there's no real repairs going down on that. The tower is going to try and go up, but that's actually going to take a lot of pressure as well. There we go, the forge goes down. The wolves not moving in just yet, but they are of course a constant threat. The tower finishes up though. So for the moment, Icy is safe, but that's only for the moment. Two-base mining is already up and running for Yummy. He's got 16 workers going, and he hasn't had to spend so much money on the towers. And with the forge going down, Icy's in an awful position. He's only got +1 from that forge. And +1 for Yummy's on the way. In fact, I don't think +1's even going to do it for him here. He's trying to squeeze through the narrow choke. But that's going to make it perfect for Rifleman to just pick the opposing Rifleman off. Second rack's coming in for Yummy right now. And I think that's going to seal the fate of his opponent. Really nice aggressive start to begin this series off. Icy just said he made a bad decision, and I think it was just less Icy's mistake and more a string of very nice decisions by Yummy there, just to take that second base, take the early den, and just engage really well. So I would not be surprised if I see AC even GG's here pretty shortly, and pretty sure AC knows what's coming for him, but he's going to try and hold on nonetheless. He does confirm that, but ironically, actually, without scouting that worker, it's actually going to get locked in the back there. And 3 racks, 1 den. You're not going to beat that with 2 racks. I'm going to tell you that for free. Even if you do have +1. But the upgrades are equal. There we go. Yummy's going to now try and engage on this tower. I don't know if that's the best decision. Maybe he should have sent the wolves in through this gap. But he's going to go for it. And Icy actually can't get any repairs in on this tower right now. It's not in the position to do so. So this tower is going to go down. This opens up the top hand side for Yummy to just apply yet more pressure. And I think as soon as this +1 upgrade kicks in for Yummy, he's just going to be able to go and take the game at his leisure. Icy doesn't want to give him that chance though. He's going to come in here. The soldiers are 7 balls trying to engage, but the riflemen are just going to push those away. Soldiers now move to the front of the army to see what sort of damage they can do, but there are going to be a few extra units coming from Yummy from the left-hand side, which will get this around. Riflemen actually being microed in 2 separate groups to clear this up. Wolves coming in from behind, that's going to distract all the riflemen. +1 armor is nearly done, and I think Icy might go down here now he's stepped out onto the map. There's a small rifleman lead here for Yummy, not a huge amount, and there might be enough for Icy to make a comeback. If there wasn't +1 armor finishing in about 5 seconds, 3 riflemen being produced at a time, and I think this is it for Icy. AC. I can't say his name right. There you go, Rifleman stepping forward once more, aggressively picking off yet more riflemen from his opponent. This barracks is going to go down as well. There's no way he can really combat this. Soldiers are going to be popping out now to try and sort of do whatever damage they can, but they're just not in great enough numbers, and I'm pretty sure that Icy will lose here. Icy's going to try and throw down another tower to hold on, but drop down to only 1 barracks on 1 base. Yummy actually taking the BM third as his opponent's third. I didn't actually notice that Icy managed to make an extra little tower there, actually. That's quite funny. Oh, it's actually in range of the workers. That's actually pretty funny. So nice play from Icy there, just to be a little bit annoying and get himself back into the game. Got a little bit of lag there, but this buys icy time, but even with as much time as he's going to get out of this, it's just not going to be enough to get him back into this game. +2 armor is going to be complete pretty soon. There's a swathe of soldiers on the way. He sees the value and size of Icy's army and says, well, that suits me, I can do this. Icy goes for a second base at the 10:30 minute mark. Sorry, 10 minute, 30 minute mark, I should say. And he does have a decent choke point set up, but he's massively outnumbered. There's no way he's going to be able to do this. The tower's going to absorb a lot in the initial sits, but as soon as the soldier gets on top of it, there we go, it melts underneath the power of those soldiers. They're going to get us around. The first soldier at the front drops down. The workers on hold position. Icy says GG. And Yummy is going to take game one. Alright, it's going to be the wall for map 2. Alright, players are ready. We're going to go straight into the wall. In the bottom left hand side in the blue trunks, it's going to be Icy. And his opponent in the red in the top right is going to be Yummy Blah Blah. Now, I'm not sure. I said it the last time we played on this map. I'm not quite so sure about aggression. We saw it sort of work, but with such a long map like this, I think the 6 expand is slightly favoured. Unless you just want to proxy like some just complete nonsense. And that's what Ice is going to go for. He's going to go for the fast expand. Now, I'm pretty sure we're left with just veterans in the Twitch stream right now. For anyone who's not, the reason aggression doesn't work so well here is because you've got to take this long winding path all the way through the middle of the map in a big S shape, which is a pain and will slow you down. You can do fairly well to get some aggression thanks to these large chokes, but with this small choke here and the high ground, it's not too hard to defend. It can be difficult against a good player, but generally it's not too hard. So Yummy's one den is gonna get here probably about the time that a tower will finish, maybe slightly before, but all in all it's not gonna do a huge amount. Wow, this music is repetitive. I might actually switch that out. There we go. A little bit of a mix-up, not quite so exciting, but I've been listening to that track for the last however long. It is going to be a hidden second den versus a Dragon Rush out of Icy, so the players are definitely going to try and make this second match a little more interesting. I'm not sure. I don't know who wins here. I think Yummy's going to be able to get a few worker kills, but I think if a house goes down around here, then that's it. Icy wins. Although he does need this 2-base mining, I guess, for his dragons, so I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one to try and hold. And he will scout that immediately, sees the dragon's leg going up. Icy just trying to kite the wolf around as much as he can, but he will lose a worker for it. I see a little bit frustrated, not sure what's going on for him, but doesn't look like this 2-den pressure is going to hit anywhere near fast enough. As I said, he manages to get an odd 1 or 2 worker kills, but with this fort here to defend, nothing's really going to happen. He might try and get the catapults up, and he's going to go for one more worker pick. There we go, he does get it, and he will be forced to back out now with those wolves on their health. Oh no, he can't stay in here. He will lose those wolves, especially to the fort. And all in all, this 2-den pressure not really doing much. It is going to be 2-den 1 racks though. He is going to go all in on this. But I don't really think Yummy is going to get to do much here. The dragon's nest is already halfway done. He doesn't have enough wolves to contest the fort. He's going to try and run into the main base and see how much worker damage he can do. The more he can do, the more that the dragon's lair gets delayed. And that's really going to help. It'll buy him enough time to find some sort of counter. But, oh, not when you get all your wolves surrounded. This is going to be cleaned up. And all in all, it's not going to do much damage. He's grabbing a second base, but he's going to be so far behind. Grabbing a base at like 3-4 minutes when your opponent's rushing dragons. Again, I think this could be a case of like that Yummy just doesn't have what he needs out on the map, and that the arrival of a dragon will just outright kill him. We've got to see some towers out of him pretty soon there. I'm going to see a second Rax out of Yummy. And looks like he's going to try and produce enough riflemen to hold on. But all in all, Icy's build didn't really get delayed. Like, these dragons, well, this first dragon is going to hit probably at about 5-6 minutes, pretty much the earliest you can get it out. And that 2-den just didn't pay for itself. Yummy's not going to have enough rifles to deny this. And smart choice actually from Icy to grab just the one dragon's nest for the moment while he doesn't have enough workers. A lot of people just grab 2 and then realize they don't have enough gold. But he's been paying attention to how many workers he has based on the harassment. And this first dragon should do the job. There's nothing to defend the natural base, and only one rifleman at the moment in the main, soon to be joined by a second one, but that's it. And I have a feeling that Yummy Blubber is going to be in a lot of trouble in the second game. We may end up going to the best of 5 ace match if it keeps going back and forth like this. There we go, first dragon pops out, second one is on the way now. Yummy's going to try and get out enough riflemen, and against only one dragon production, he might be okay. Like, he's going to have 4 when this dragon hits. As much as he's going to get pulled around, 2 dragons in Eden Gold Line will deflect this. It won't do any damage if you have two rifles per gold line. But he's actually moving all his forces together, and Yummy is just going to be able to do quite a bit of harassment damage. He's going to be able to slow his opponent down even further. Actually, Yummy is somehow being pretty even on gold, not quite sure how that worked, but it is apparently the case. Icy though can now just dip into the main. Yummy's trying to get these units in to defend, and they will be able to now. But Yummy's just going to join up 2 dragons together and then dive in, and 2 riflemen are not going to hold that at all. There we go, the first rifleman's going to take a couple of barrage shots. Oh, but 2 more pop out of the barracks right underneath, and with 6 riflemen there, he is going to be able to deflect this. So nicely done. At the moment, he's still trying to go for this one dragon nest play, which I don't think is going to work for him. You need a lot of dragons all at once if you want to do harassment, and with only one at a time, Yummy's got actually an ample opportunity just in these 2 barracks to just produce enough to defend. Icy is going to really struggle to do damage. He's going to pick off a rifleman there, but that was pretty expensive. And upgrades are about to kick in. +1 attack here for Yummy, and these dragons will die to 2 riflemen each with proper focus fire. There we go, so the +1 attack is going to finish up in just a second. Icy is going to use this opportunity though to grab a 3rd base and try and sort of use that to power his economy enough. But right now he's in a pretty bad position. Soon Yummy Blah Blah will have his +1, or in fact he's going for +2, and he'll just be able to march across the map and take his opponent out. He's not going to have enough dragons to deal with this. He's actually adding on a den, of all things, to try and have enough ground presence. This den from Yummy will go down if he's not careful, but he's not really intending on using it anymore, so I don't think he minds. But these dragons are just trying to stay in one clump to do enough damage to take out workers, but that means that they just can't attack in multiple locations, and that's really proving difficult for them to actually then do any damage. Yummy is going to spot this 3rd base though, and he's going to harass it a little bit. But there we go. Oh, the riflemen are going to desperately try and step forward, but the dragons are too fast. They're not going to get the full damage they need on that, but they are underneath another dragon that's on red health, and ooh, very, very close there. Icy nearly lost 2 dragons out of his 4, which would have crippled him, but he has kept them alive for now. And obviously it's going to be very, very difficult for Yummy to take any sort of long distance to their base, especially any with cliffs nearby. We're going to pick up another free worker down at the bottom here. But Yummy is actually on double forge. So he's going to be going into +2 attack in just a second here. And then Icy is going to find it incredibly difficult to hold on if Yummy just chooses to sort of rush across the map with his army. There we go, and that looks like what Yummy is preparing to do right now. He does have about 12 workers, which is enough to clean up 6 dragons. So basically he's got enough army with focus fire to clean this up. But he's going to have to engage pretty well. Icy's actually got the low health dragons in the back, so that's a good start. He does save the wolves then for all he actually needs it. Back in the main base though, Icy just walling off against any sort of harassment. He's grabbing the tech. Grabbing the tech for his upgrades. And looks to basically just be going for a wolf-dragon mix. The wolves will obviously help trade a little bit more efficiently against the riflemen, hold them in place and that sort of thing, but I don't think he has enough of them just yet. And of course, riflemen don't trade atrociously with wolves either. There we go. The riflemen are actually going to get hammered down here by the dragons. The focus fire from the dragons isn't great though, so he will take a little bit more damage than he wants. But these wolves are going to be able to make up the difference. But that was before I saw the second wave of Yummy basically fully replenishes that army. He's ready and raring to go. Icy right now is still, he's basically gearing up in a clump to take just one big fight and try and win the game that way. But obviously that means he's got enough dragons that he could easily split 2 up, go into the main base, the natural, and the third, and just force out as many towns as he can, but so far he's not elected to do that. Yummy is fully aware he's coming. He's setting up in the main base to deflect this. It's going to be pretty hard to get the full sort of surface area off the rifleman that he wants, but there we go, the dragons just back off. They can actually just come in from the south side once again to harass. They're going to try and pick off this house, which is not an awful choice, but they're probably higher value targets. Right now though, Icy is grabbing a 4th base, and his economy's looking in pretty good shape. We just need to actually start getting enough units out on the map to really fight this rifleman ball. Not sure why he's trying to remove this house. I guess he wants to build... Oh, okay, he's trying to transfer workers away. He's oversaturating his main. So right now, Yummy is actually got a good number of riflemen. He's got 20 riflemen, which should be able to clean up all the dragons. It's just a case of can you clean up all of the wolves as well. He does basically have one upgrade lead, and +4 riflemen do kick a hell of a sort of punch through most things, but here we go. Yummy's actually going to step forward with only a small chunk of his army. He could actually lose all of this right now, and that's going to be pretty darn bad for him. There we go. The rest of the army is coming down from the top-hand side, though, to form this pincer. And a great concave here from Yummy. All the wolves are going to go down, trading against soldiers. He needs to get good focus fire, though. The dragons are split in their decision on who to go for, and Icy is going to try and back up. He's going to make use of this high ground, though, and he's going to go back into, I think, probably the natural to pick up some more workers. Oh, really nice actually from Yummy if he can do this. He's trying to come around from the left hand side, and he will actually get even more damage in on these dragons. They're getting caught horribly, horribly out of position. This is beautiful for Yummy right now. Icy just needs to get up on high ground. Needs to get out of the way. But he doesn't have much solution to this. The fort on the fourth base is nice, and that's actually going to make it really quite difficult to assault there. But he's more likely just to pick off the workers than the base itself. There you go, the castle will go down. He's going to try and fight in this choke point. There's a lot of wolves here, though, to back this up. The riflemen get really good focus fire on the first dragon. They're not going to get a great one on the second. The dragons are being pulled back. But obviously that means they're not in the fight. The wolves are doing a lot down at the front, but they've all been cleaned up now, and it's just the dragons remaining. But Yummy deciding actually he's going to back off, wait for reinforcements, and then go for round 2. Obviously the tower here is going to make this quite difficult. But what are the upgrades looking like? It's +3/+3 versus +5/+2. Yummy 2 upgrades ahead, and that's going to make it so hard for Icy's dragons to do anything here. The dragons do have a good opportunity though, just to hop across this narrow gap in the middle of the map and try and do some damage here. But so Yummy and Icy are actually going to go pretty much even on bases in just a second here. But the thing is, like, the end game comp, like, unless Icy can somehow mix some mages into this once he starts maxing out, then he's just never really going to be able to engage this particularly well. The dragons get caught kind of out of position. The wolves stream in one by one, and they're all going to go down as the dragons retreat. And the wolves are nice, but at this point Icy's just going to buy time with him. He's actually going to go into the third base and see how much damage he can get there, but half the army is splitting up to go deal with that, and the other half is actually just going to go take down the third base of Icy. Icy's wolves are desperately trying to do something, but even heavily upgraded wolves are not really a match for riflemen. They're going to get deflected off this third base. Tower is going to go down here for Icy on his third, and the armies are looking just to actually pincer these dragons. They're coming in from the left hand side, the top, and the right now. The workers are getting pulled though to try and deal with this, and the army is staggered apart. So there is a good chance he can at least clean up a chunk of this, but it's not going to be that effective a trade for him. Icy is actually dropping down to once again about 9 dragons to about 20 riflemen, but there's 5 at a time being produced. More being picked off in the middle of the map though. Icy has to make sure he brings all his units together. And this amount of dragons is actually pretty terrifying. And the wolves are actually going to pin in on these riflemen. Is Icy going to do it here? He might actually be able to take this game off of Yummy, despite how well Yummy's been macroing behind this to get all these riflemen out. The dragons are going to back off for now, but you can just retreat to the safety of their cliff. More dragon's nests and more wolves' dens are being plopped down here for Icy. But at the moment he's trading army for army, but he's just not done any damage. Like, he's basically not killed any workers, he's not denied any bases. That's gonna start proving fatal if he keeps allowing Yummy to remax. It's gonna be 66 supply versus actually a maxed out Icy. Obviously dragons take up a lot of supply, and 10 dragons is going to take up actually 60 of that supply itself. So that is going to limit the army size somewhat. But Icy's actually going to come in here and actually going to quickly pick up this tower. Workers are going to go down, but I can't see them because they're buried under everything else. Icy's going to try and come and pick these off, but that just pulls riflemen further out of position, and the wolves are going to try and come and clear this up. They're going to get in on top of the riflemen and trade. More workers are going to go down. This is the damage that Icy really needed in this game. There's a huge amount of riflemen though. He's not going to engage for too long, and I'm honestly really surprised that he's not grabbed mages behind this. Some sort of heal mage for these dragons would be absolutely superb, would allow him to trade a lot better, but clearly just not crossed his mind just yet. Where's that wolf? Oh, it's actually in the naturally Yummy. Icy's gonna go for it here in the middle of the map. He's trying to engage with all these dragons. He's doing well to keep the majority of them alive, and it's going to be difficult to focus fire with this much of a crowd. But actually, the riflemen are getting absolutely slaughtered here. It's such a really nice engagement for Icy. He's managed to keep a lot of those dragons alive, but with so many reinforcing riflemen, it's going to be difficult. At the moment, we've just sort of reached a stalemate. I'm surprised neither player is actually taking up behind this. Yummy I can understand because he's only at 70 supply, but Icy, at least, if he's maxed out, he should really be looking to get mages in with this. Heal mage is so effective, but those players are actually going to be able to going up to completely maxed out upgrades in a minute here, which is something we basically never see. There we go. Once again, just to deny this mining. I think that's basically going to be it. Whoever decides to get mages first, either actually, I can understand Yummy not, because not many mage spells are great against dragons, but Icy, you really want mages by this point. Heal spell for your dragons, a fireball for the riflemen. It's going to make a huge difference. Like, trade those wolves away from mages and just go with that. Alright, the dragons are going to dip in on this fourth base once again. They're going to force more workers away. The riflemen are pinned away by these cliffs, but they will pick off a dragon for their trouble. So that's nice. And Icy's going to try and I actually take this double base in the middle of the map. I don't know why he's not trying to take the base up the top here, but I guess he's just going to force an engagement here. The wolves are coming in. They're going to try and pick up the soldiers. The riflemen have got a full surround, well, full concave on these dragons, I should say. The tower's not going to go up and won't actually get cancelled. This base at the top will go down by the looks of things. Icy's going to come in once more and try and force the engagement. The wolves are actually getting a fairly good position in the front of this and will absorb a lot of the rifleman shots. There's so many riflemen that the wolves just get cleaned up. They're already all gone. The dragons are trying to engage this, but once again they're being forced to back off. And I think we've reached the point where Dragon Wolf alone is just not going to cut it. Yummy's going to start marching forward now with this massive ball of riflemen. And there's just nothing he can do. Icy's going to try and engage this once more, but the riflemen are just stutter stepping back beautifully against all of these wolves. Now the focus fire comes in. The dragons, once again, having spent their wolves, don't really achieve much. 6 riflemen at a time coming out from Yummy. The macro is ridiculous on this guy right now. More dragons are getting at focus fire. One more drops down. He's spreading out to create this concave, and there's only 7 dragons left, most of them on red or orange health. I think Yummy's done it here. He's managed to beat back the dragons, which no one really at the moment has been having that much success with. And there we go. He's going to start picking off workers here. The dragons are actually going to get picked off there. This concave comes in once again. One more dragon's going to fall down at the front there. The low health one's trying to be micro to the back, but it's just not going to cut it. The fort isn't built yet, so that's not going to help, and this base is going to go down. Icy says GG, and Yummy will take that game. What's the score now? I'm actually going to have to work it out. Is it 1 apiece? I'm actually going to have to work this out a second. Crimson Woods, no, it's going to be, it's not 1 apiece, I lied. It's actually going to be Yummy 2-0 up. So we'll ask Icy for the map 3. Alright, so we're going to leave it at a best of 3 there. We've been streaming for way too long today. That was your finals, and do go praise your champion, Yummy Blah Blah, taking the absolutely surprising storm through this tournament. I'm just going to remind you of the competitors and the scores. First off, Yummy went up against Venny, 2-0'd Venny straight out of the tournament. Afterstar went up against him, 2-0'd out of the tournament. Then Icy, of all people, the veteran himself, 2-0'd. Yummy with a ridiculous run today. Absolutely ridiculous. And he is going to take that tournament. Really nice play from him. And I have to say, I wasn't expecting it. Alright, I don't think we have enough time for Losers Group 1, sorry, Losers Group 2 today. Let's actually see if there's anyone from that online. Vault After Star, Slammer and M-Boy. M-Boy's not on, Slammer's not on. M-Boy was here earlier though.